9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the head of state meets the crown prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For the international scene, gas price kept at the head of discussions at Euromed Summit. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic meet the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, meet in Riyadh the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. This meeting served as a framework to discuss the distinguished relations that exist between the two brotherly countries and to deepen bilateral cooperation at different levels. The discussion is allowed to evaluate the state of multiple partnership that the two countries share in various fields, in particular economic, education, port investment. The Republic of Djibouti and Saudi Arabia share close historical ties that unite the two countries. The discussions between the head of state and the crown prince emphasized the importance of continuing the efforts of both countries to highlight the fraternal relations between Djibouti and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For his part, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, expressed his satisfaction for the warm welcome which was reserved for him by stressing the importance of the summit of China and the Arab countries league to discuss ways and means to strengthen the Sino-Arab ties and face the various challenges facing the region today. On the Djiboutian side, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Ambassador of Djibouti in Saudi Arabia, Mr. Diaydin Said Bamakrama, and the Director of the Arab Department, Mohammed Douale Waliye, attended this meeting. The final feedback workshop for the development of a strategy to improve public services in the interior regions was held at the Sheraton Hotel on December 11, 2022. The workshop was inaugurated by the Minister of Decentralization, Qasim Harun Ali, and was attended by the President of the 5 regional councils and of the interior of the countries, and the workshop marked the conclusions of an effort to develop a comprehensive strategy for improving public services in the regions. The process began with a series of consultations with the community members and local officials to gather information on the most needed and valued services in each region. The information was used to identify key priorities for the public service development and to develop an implementation plan for needed improvement. During the workshop, participants discussed the result of a consultations process and reviewed the proposed strategy for utility development. This strategy includes a series of measures to improve the accessibility, quality, and efficiency of services provided to the community. For his part, the Minister of Decentralization, Qasim Harun Ali, emphasized the importance of collaborations and coordination to address these challenges and stressed the need for a comprehensive and integrated approach to the development of public services. The chairman of the regional councils of the 5 interior regions also highlighted the unique needs and priorities of their respective region and discuss the potential benefits of implementing the proposed strategy in their regions. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication, Ahmed Yusuf Almi, sponsored this Sundays at the Hotel Acacia training workshop on postal techniques for the benefits of the Somali Post from 11 to 16 December 2022. This training workshop, which will last for 10 days, was organized by the Djibouti Post with the support of the International Postal Union. The event was attended by the Director General of the Djibouti Post, Bahnan Ali Medal, and Somali operators. This training workshop will allow Somali postal agents to integrate basic techniques essential in the accomplishment of their daily work. Dawood Abdul Mohammed is in his speech, being the oldest of the Somali Post. He thanked the Djiboutian party for the warm welcomes they received. He recalled that the Republic of Djibouti, our second hand, has never failed us in all areas. Continuing, he said that this training will be beneficial so that the Somali Post can regain its former prestige and regain the confidence of its postal customers. For his part, the general directors of the Djibouti Post, Bahnan Ali Medal, thanked the International Postal Union for facilitating the organizations of this workshop. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Communication, Ahmed Yusuf Almi, to recall that it is our duty to provide all the assistance and expertise necessary for the Somali Post to catch up. This morning, a workshop to strengthen weather and climate synergies was held at the Sheraton Hotel, organized by the National Meteorological Agency and the IGAD Climate Predictions and Applications Center as part of the co-productions of the Climate Services for East Africa, a project funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 and innovation programs in collaboration with the ACRA programs and the Convergence Capacity. This workshop will take place over 4 days from December 11 to 14, 2022. The objective of the workshop is to explore mutual interests and establish a progressive partnership between policymakers from government agencies, the private sectors, and journalists in East Africa. In addition, the workshop aims to improve understanding and enhance the use of uptake IPAC climate services, drought monitoring in East Africa, and their positions in the value chain of climate services in risks monitoring for different sectors in Sudan and South Sudan. The workshop was attended by the General Director of the National Meteorological Agency, Mr. Mohamed Ismail Noor, experts, IPAC experts in climate, capacity building, users engagement, communication, civil society organization, early warning, journalists, private sector, policymakers, and stakeholders from Somalia and Djibouti. And now listen to the General Directors of the National Meteorological Agency, Mr. Mohamed Ismail Noor.
The Horn of Africa is prone to extreme climate events such as drought and floods. The European has funded this COFER project to improve and strengthen the co-production of the climate service for the water, energy, food security sector in the East Africa. COFER is an international collaboration to reduce the disaster risk associated with the climate extreme in East Africa. ICPAC is accredited a climate center by the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, that provides climates to 11 East African countries, 8 countries of IGAD members, plus Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. The objective of this training is to investigate, understanding, and establishment of the synergy between the National Meteorological Agency or authorities, policymakers, private sectors, journalists, in using, communicating, and disseminating the climate information that comes from ICPAC. Media is very important. The media plays a central role in educating, informing, and disseminating on the weather and the climate information. Nowadays, the climate change is a very big issue for all the world. Media coverage of the climate change has had effects on the public opinion on climate change as it conveys scientific consensus on the climate change that the global temperature has increased in the recent decades and that the trend is caused by human-induced emissions of the greenhouse gases.
Omar Gilli Ahmed, the Basic Education Teacher Training Center, has started the initial training for the 2022-2023 school year. So the General Directors of the center, Ms. Aisha Farah El-Tirey, and her collaborators welcomed the new students, teachers who were admitted to the course. 496 students, teachers composed of 3 levels of education, namely 51 for the preschool, 212 212 for the basic French, Arabic, and English, and 233 for the middle, secondary, general, and all disciplines. Then the center's managers and trainers presented the ins and outs of the initial training. For her part, the general directors of the CFF, Ms. Asha Farah, welcomed them and urged them to have exemplary behavior during these years of training. She added that the teaching profession requires a certain rigor in the know-how and behavior of the teacher. These 496 new students teachers went back to school to follow theoretical and practical training through the school year. Under the auspices of the State Secretariat for Sports, the association is charitable. Organized yesterday afternoon the final of the inter-regional tournament Peace and Stability in Djibouti at the complex King Fahad. The finals that pitted two best teams of the tournament, namely the team of Tajura and the team that of Dakhil. Despite clear dominations of the Tajura, the team of Dakhil has presented the best argument to overcome its opponents' victory celebrated with the circumstances in front of the public, but also in front of an array of guests in the VIPs. It was the Secretary of State for Sports, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamil, parliamentarian, the President of the Balbala Commune, the President of the Regional Council of Dakhil, the General Directors of the MPS, local elected officials. The ceremony ended beautifully with the awarding of trophy to the winners and losers, as well as to all those who have distinguished themselves individually. A special mention is to Said Buha, the president of the League of Tajura, who is the instigators of this project, promoting social cohesion between young people, at the same time contribute to the detections of talent. Morocco has become the first African team to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup. The Atlas Lions beat Portugal 2-0 in the quarterfinals of the World Cup this Sunday in Doha. Sevilla strikers Youssef and Nesri scored with the only goal of the matches with a header in the 42nd minute after the perfect cross from Yaya Atiyallah. The civilians powerfully headed the ball down to Boons and raised the roof of the nets. After the final whistle, messages of congratulations flooded the social networks. That's it. They did it. Long life to Morocco for this achievement. Long life to Africa. The Djiboutians came out in mass to celebrate the first victory of our countries that reaches the semi-finals of this World Cup and will face on Wednesday the defending champions France. The Moroccan chargé d'affaires of the embassy in Djibouti, Mr. Barek Hassoun, Barek Haddawi, granted an interview to the team of sports of RTT has this morning, in which he rejoiced of the victory of Morocco against the team of Portugal. Indeed, the Chargé d'Affaires says this opportunity to recall the previous victories held by this formation is the Chargé d'Affaires of the Morocco did not fail to thank the supporters for their support to the Moroccan team. For the international scene, Euromed Summit gas price cap at heart of discussion is the leaders of the 9 Mediterranean countries that are members of the European countries meet this Friday in Alicante, Spain, for the Euromed Summit. Madrid argued for a dynamic cap on gas prices rather than a fixed ceiling. Our discussion is focused on the Commission's proposal for a gas price cap. The market corrections mechanism is in our view. This proposal still needs to be adjusted. Next week at the meeting of the energy ministers, we will work in this direction so that we can agree on a dynamic and effective cap on gas prices, said the head of the Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez. Germany ended of a police operations in Dresden. The hostage taker is dead. German police announced that the end of hostage situations in Dresden that led to a major law enforcement operations in the morning. The hostage situation in Dresden is over, police said in a message on Twitter, adding that there is no longer a danger situation. It added that it had taken in 2 people with no apparent injuries. The hostage takers, a 40-year-old German, died after being seriously injured during the police intervention. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.